As you guys know, we just reached our goal of 20,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for that. But now we're on our next goal, 25,000 subscribers. And we could really use your support. If you enjoy daily Knicks content like this, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button because it could really support all the great content that we're creating for you. But the main thing we have to talk about is the way that game closed. I know we're going to break down the quarters like we always do, but that fourth quarter, we went back and forth with Toronto. Now, we can talk about for days why the Knicks are a better team than Toronto and why we shouldn't have gone back and forth with them. We should have been dominating them this game. But anyways, we don't have to talk about that right now. Let's talk about those closing moments. R.J. Barrett pretty much was doing whatever he wanted, getting whatever he wanted, especially inside the paint. Going inside the paint, getting layups, going to the line, whatever he wanted, until he went to the well just one too many times. And then he saw Karl-Anthony Towns meet him. OG Anunoby with a game-saving block. We get the ball up. Karl-Anthony Towns gets it. Open three. Boom. The dagger. He grabs his shirt. I can't repeat exactly what he says, but if you watch the game, you know what it was about. New York. It was about New York. He hit that dagger for New York. He did it for the city. The city is on fire right now. We could not drop this game to Toronto Raptors. We could not lose it. We are getting ready for an NBA Cup game against the Atlanta Hawks. It's our quarterfinals game. We need momentum going into that game. Talk about momentum. This game came down to the wire. Yes, we didn't play defense for basically the entire game, but when it counted, we played defense. We got the game-saving block, the dagger three. We win the game, and the Knicks take this game against Toronto Raptors. We're going to break down exactly how the Knicks went against the Toronto Raptors, what they did better than the Toronto Raptors, and what the Raptors were able to do against the Knicks a little bit better. We're going to talk about all of those topics for you guys today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And make sure you have notifications on as well, too. So that way, you don't miss a second of any of the new content once we drop it for you guys. And now, let's get started. OG Anunoby's game-saving block. Cat hits the dagger three and helps the Knicks beat the Toronto Raptors. Like I said, it was not pretty. And I got to ask this question because I think a lot of you would agree with me. Have we forgotten how to play defense? Is defense just not in our playbook anymore? Tom Thibodeau is our head coach. We have OG Anunoby. Individually, he plays great defense. We're going to talk about him and all of the blocks that he's been doing. I didn't know we had another center on the team because he's blocking shots like he's Victor Wembanyama. So we got to talk about that. We got to talk about OG Anunoby and what he's doing. But either way, with this Knicks team right now, it's like with the team defense alone, we just don't know how to play it. And we like to pick and choose when we want to play defense. Look at the second quarter. We were playing defense a little bit better there than we were doing in the first quarter. Closing out the first quarter, we were also playing better defense. But how come it's not consistent? How come it's not over for 48 minutes or not even for a half? We pick and choose when we want to play defense, and we are not that good of a team to be able to pick and choose when we want to do that. The Raptors were able to take advantage at each and every turn. Talk about paint defense. There was none. Interior defense for the Knicks was a zero. The Raptors were able to attack at every point in time. Jakob Poeltl, he was able to go against Towns and do whatever he wanted to do inside, getting rebounds, passing, pick and roll. We saw him picking apart the Knicks defense inside. There was no defense been played. Now, I think I can say for everybody, if you watch the game, in that first half, the Toronto Raptors were going after it. More aggressive and going after the Knicks, especially on the offensive side of the ball. They were attacking inside, they were aggressive on offense, and they were also switching on Jalen Brunson, giving him a lot of double teams. I thought in the second half, their defense waned a little bit. But in that first half, it held up. The second half, no team was playing defense. The Knicks allowed the Raptors to do whatever they wanted to do, and the Raptors allowed the Knicks to basically do whatever they wanted to do. No defense at all. You basically saw an offensive fire performance from Mikal Bridges, Karl-Anthony Towns, at times OG Anunoby, and of course, Mikal Bridges, like I said before. Jalen Brunson as well, too. Jalen was doing his thing. I can't lie about Jalen. Jalen was also giving us the points, giving us the assist, the playmaking, whatever we needed when we needed it. We have to remember that for Jalen Brunson. He was a key aspect to this game, even though when you look at the box score, you might not think that. The Knicks, again, escape Toronto, 113 to 108. The Knicks get this victory. I'm happy that they did that. A couple of notes here in that first quarter that I want to break down. The Knicks defense was allowing too many backdoor cuts and drives from the baseline. And obviously the initial defense was good, but then after they make one play, they being the Toronto Raptors, the Knicks defense breaks down and then they're able to get whatever they want inside the paint. We always talked about those backdoor cuts and those backdoor passes. That's exactly what I'm talking about. The Knicks perimeter defense, again, is still a problem. I can't stress it enough. We see how many players get the open three. How many times did Grady get open tonight with an open three? Before Scotty Barnes went down with that injury, how many times did he get open threes or create open shots for himself? Same thing for RJ Barrett. It's just inexcusable at this point. We can't allow teams to shoot threes like that. Even the bad teams, if you give them open shots, they're going to make those shots because it looks like they're practicing. And if you make a team feel like it's practice, what do you think's going to happen? Of course you're going to make those shots. A couple of other things to consider here from that first quarter. The Knicks did make a strong run to close out the quarter, 15-4 run, 34-27 to end the quarter. So obviously they were up. But then if you look at that second quarter in the quarter-to-quarter breakdown, we allowed the Raptors to basically do the same thing against us. 26 for the Knicks and 34 for the Raptors. And obviously in that second quarter, the Knicks interior defense was a little bit better, but then they got exposed from the perimeter because each and every time they were collapsed inside the paint to try to prevent the penetrator from coming inside the paint, they would just make sure another open player would be open at the wing. And then if that happened, Toronto would be able to dominate on that end. Or they would fake the pass, fake the three, and then they were able to go inside and dominate as well, too. We saw that a lot in the second quarter. And then they ended the second quarter, the Raptors going up in that game after being down by 11, 13-0 run. The entire second quarter, the Raptors led the Knicks after closing the quarter aggressively on a 19-7 run. So we're talking about 61-60 at the half. Very close game, closer than it should have been because the Knicks at the end of the day had the better team. We talked about a couple of players already. We talked about OG and his game-saving block. We talked about Karl-Anthony Towns and his dagger three. But Mikal Bridges is probably the player you're not going to hear a lot about. It's not because he didn't play well. It's because the other players on the team did so good that it outshined what Mikal Bridges did. And that's saying something when you take a look at his stat line and see exactly what he did for New York. Take a look at what Mikal Bridges did for New York tonight. What he gave the Knicks tonight. 23 points, 64% from the field, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, and 5 of 8 from the three-point line. Like Knicks Muse says, that's exactly what we need from him. Mikal Bridges, individually on defense, he did his best in terms of trying to switch, trying to slow down certain players. He was on Scotty Barnes. He tried to make it difficult for him. I thought during certain points of the game he did, but obviously when they start switching and he gets open, Scotty Barnes is going to hit those shots. Barnes is a good player. I actually hope and pray that his foot injury is not too serious. I was embarrassed tonight. That third quarter, guys, I don't know if you guys are watching it. RJ Barrett cutting each and every time, driving inside, getting whatever he wanted. Replay that, did the same thing in the fourth quarter. Grady cutting back door. Was it me or every time Jacob caught the ball, he would catch it, hold it, he would see Grady go back door, pass it with the bounce pass, and then they would get that ball and convert. It was like clockwork. And I'm thinking to myself, why are we not putting anybody in the passing lane? Why are we not throwing a body at Grady? Why are we not putting anybody on him? We're not telling Towns to roll with him as he's moving toward the paint, so that way somebody else is on him. So that way we can worry about Poto somewhere else. Somebody else can put a body on him. We don't have to worry about him consistently if we're switching properly. And I thought the double big lineup that we had out there with Precious Achiuwa and Karl-Anthony Towns, we didn't see it often. We didn't see it a lot. But when we did see it, I think they did a very, very good job because they're able to switch. Achua is able to block shots, give you very good defense inside, give you good rebounding as well, too. I thought that those two guys together play well together. And I think that's a lineup that Tom Thibodeau needs to explore at some point in time, maybe in late game situations, because you cannot ignore the defense that Achua gives you and the offense that Towns gives you. OG Anunoby tonight, I mean, my goodness, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks, 3 blocks. That is not a typo. This man is blocking shot after shot after shot. No matter what you're throwing up, he is blocking those shots. And if you take a 3 around him, you better take that 3 quick, because if it's on your fingertips, he's blocking that shot. He blocked 2 3-pointers tonight, back to back, again. He did it before, and he did it again. I can't think of a last time a player's has even done that. When's the last time a player has blocked back-to-back 3s and then done it again in maybe a couple of games later? It's impossible. That doesn't happen unless your name is OG Anunoby. 3 blocks. That's insanity. And look what he did over his last 5 games. His last 5 games, guys. 3 blocks, 2 steals. Okay. 2 blocks, 4 steals. Okay. 2 blocks, 4 steals. What? 2 blocks. 3 blocks, 4 steals. According to Knicks Muse, he is not normal. That's not normal. That is not normal. That is not normal. He's an alien. That's alien stuff. That's demon time. What even is that? How do you do that? 3 blocks? 3 blocks, and he's basically averaging 2.5 blocks over the last 5 games. OG Wembanyama? Is that his name? Blocking shots, playing defense, shooting the 3, making sure players inside have that fear. When they go against him, they understand. They don't want to do anything against him because they know they put the ball over here or they put the ball over here. It's a steal. We're going the other way. I sometimes used to get mad at OG and the way that he fell, the way that he jogs up the court. But you know what? There's a method to his madness. He watches the ball. It's like a hawk. He just looks at that ball, looking at it, and he sees it right across court. Like a lion sometimes. They kind of pace. And then when they know that they're going to get the ball, they pounce. That's OG Anunoby. That is OG Anunoby. He did that so many times tonight. Talk about hunting. This man hunted that ball, took that ball, took the life out of that ball at times, blocked the life out of that ball at times. The last block he did was the game-winning block. Everybody saw that, right? RJ Barrett going all the way up to the hoop. Basically what he's been doing all night long, where he's been successful, getting contact, going to the line. What did OG Anunoby say? First of all, let me give some credit and an assist to Karl-Anthony Towns. Karl-Anthony Towns putting his body there and his arms up led to RJ Barrett staying right in that area. That led to him trying to use the glass. And that led to OG Anunoby coming overhead with a monstrous block. That block was amazing. I can't even remember. I can't even remember the last time a block got me so hype. I was more hype about the block than I was about the shot, because the block was game altering. It was shattering. If you didn't feel that block over here, if you didn't hear that block with your ears, you better turn up your volume. OG Anunoby is not normal. Mikal Bridges and his defense, his 3-point shooting, his scoring, he's starting to get more comfortable. But again, Karl-Anthony Towns, 24 points, 15 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, plus 10. We don't win this game without Towns as well. His aggression was not there in the first. second, third, fourth quarter, you saw the aggressive Karl-Anthony Towns attacking, getting to the line, making sure he's making his free throws, and helping this Knicks team thrive. That is what we needed. Those guys are some of the main reasons we won this game, and I could not thank them enough. So let's go ahead and focus on some of the players I wasn't able to get that image of, Jalen Brunson being one of them. 35 minutes for the captain, 7 of 13 from the field, 4 of 8 from 3, obviously giving you exactly what you needed. 4 rebounds, 11 assists, and 20 points. I don't want to hear anything about Jalen not doing what he needed to do. The captain passed the ball when necessary, scored when necessary, and when he was open for that 3, or he could create some space, he was taking that shot. Jalen Brunson was a major factor tonight, and I'm not going to let anybody else tell you otherwise. Another person we didn't talk about was Josh Hart. 32 minutes, 4 of 9 from the field, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 10 points. That is not really a Josh Hart game. Obviously, he did a little bit of everything, played 32 minutes. But if you know Josh Hart and his stat line, he normally does better than that. Achua, 16 minutes, the only big off the bench. That's something to mention there. 3 of 7 from the field, 6 rebounds, and 7 points. Campaign off the bench, 13 minutes, 1 of 4 from 3, 1 rebound, 1 assist, and 7 points. Deuce McBride off the bench, 26 minutes, 3 of 6 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, and 8 points. Everybody else was a DNP. We're talking about Matt Ryan, Jacob Toppin, Jericho Sims, Ariel Hukporti, Tyler Kolek, and Pacome Dadier. Obviously, when you look at the field goal percentage, Knicks right now, 51.2%. The Toronto Raptors, 44.8%. So the Knicks shot better than them from the field. But when you still allow a team like the Raptors to shoot 44.8%, it's not great. You got to do better than that. 42.5% from 3 for the Knicks, 37.1% from the Raptors. Again, a lot of the three-point shots they had, they were open. They just missed a ton of them. I don't know why they were missing so many of them. They were open. Turnovers tonight for New York, a lot better, 10. Conversely, the other game, it was 15. So the Knicks took care of the ball a lot better tonight. 13 turnovers for the Raptors, 40 rebounds for the Knicks, but 51 for the Toronto Raptors. Can I just point out that the Knicks got out-rebounded during this game and we won? Normally, if we get out-rebounded, we're not winning games. We're losing. But we got out-rebounded by the Raptors. By the Raptors. We can't get out-rebounded by them. We have Karl-Anthony Towns on the floor. We had Preston Achua on the floor. Josh Hart on the floor. We have to rebound collectively if we can't not rebound by one person. If one person can't get it done. We can't get beat on the boards like this. If they're getting second or third or 4 chance opportunities, what do you think's going to happen? They're going to stay in the game. That's exactly what happened there. That is not okay. Let's break down the shot chart and also the rest of the team stats here as well, too, so you can see why the Knicks actually won this game. Because when you lose on the boards, but you shoot very well, there's one other factor that's going to lead you to believe whether you win or whether you lose. And that factor is assists. And right now, with team assists, you see the Knicks having 32 and the Toronto Raptors having 23. And that right there was the name of the game. The Knicks, I've said it so many times. I don't know how many times I've repeated this on this show, on the post game. When the Knicks have under 25 assists, we're going to lose the game. We're not passing the ball. We're not moving the ball. But if the Knicks are moving the ball and they're moving themselves and they're making sure at the end of the day that they're getting the best look and the open look, that's how they convert. That's how they win games. And if you're making sure you're making the right pass and you're playing unselfishly, that's how the Knicks need to play. Right now, we're relying a lot on our offense. Then make our offense a little bit easier. Get them open looks. That's exactly what they were doing. But they were not doing that a lot in the first half. A lot more isolation heavy in that first half. The second half, ball was moving so freely between Karl-Anthony Towns, Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges. Mikal was catching those shots in the corner and hitting all of those three-point shots. He was open. In this situation, they don't really shoot everywhere. You see where they are with their three-point shots? Very selective. They're either on one top of the key, the other top of the key, or in the corner. They're not really shooting everywhere willy-nilly. And that means you're being selective. When you're being selective with your three-point shot and you're not rushing them, normally you're going to make them. Knicks, 17 for 40, 42.5% from the three-point line. When you take good shots and you make good shots, it gives you confidence. 13 for 35 from the three-point line for the Toronto Raptors, and a lot of them were open. They just missed them. I have no idea what was going on with them. The Knicks again, though, with their free throws. My goodness, 12 of 19 from the line. I mean, what are we doing, guys? With the Detroit Pistons as well. With the Pistons, we couldn't make any free throws. Now tonight, 12 of 19. Still can't make our free throws. Jalen Brunson still can't make his free throws. And he's normally a very good free throw shooter. So I'm very surprised by this. I think the Knicks are obviously going to figure it out. I mean, they're too good not to figure it out. But to see them struggling through all of this, when you know they could get better, it's just hard to look at. That's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.